You've highlighted the case of the Belgians. Sister mentioned the fact that we need to expand the net. There is a large swathe of Chinese babies running around in Zimbabwe that needs to be looked into. But then again, what about the kids that were disappeared completely? How do we look into that? Because there's also a case in Congo of Japanese kids being denied their ancestry.
Yeah. I think we covered that on this show at one point.
Yeah, we did. I mean, you sort of see how this, when we pick these stories, is to tell you that the history lives. The legacy of those history. We talked about apartheid earlier, and the legacy of that apartheid is what is now playing out. We're talking in the story now. We're talking about fathers who, when the imperialists came in, they came in mostly men. There is a book, a Congo, written by Kibrook, where he says most of these men came in, and even the lady we did on women and resistance, Bluin.
Bluin, yeah.
The father was in his
and sleeping with the 13-year-old.
Yeah, sick.
Exactly. So we begin to see that these are some of the untreated traumas that is still besieging that continent. So my final question.
And remember really quick, because I can hear people saying, oh, then Africans do that as well. Remember that woman, that young girl that Bluin's father, quote unquote, married, was betrothed to someone else, and she was still staying with her parents because they were waiting for her to mature more.
Sure, yeah.
She was too young to, at that point, get married. But this white man comes, decides he wants her. Who knows what he gave the father or whatever. And the next thing, he immediately has sexual access to her.
Yeah. No, it's amazing how she managed to really make a tremendous life out of her life, you know?
But
Often
then, of course,
it doesn't happen that way.
But then,
only 1 out of 10.
If we go into that story, even though this young girl was defiled by this old white man, her crown of glory for her whole life, to go by Andre Bluin's book, was her mother's crown of glory was that she had had a baby by a white man. So when you talk about the indoctrination,
Yes, of course.
and how we participate in our own oppression, it's something to behold.
Yeah, Fanon writes about that in Black Skin, White Mask.
In White Mask.
When he writes about Capisha Mayotte, the Martinique novelist, who writes a so-called fiction book. But Fanon says, no, I don't believe that was fiction. That was just like her maybe fictionalizing her real life and her real desires, where the character at some point says, she was so proud when she discovered that her mother mother or grandmother was actually mixed, and then said something like, oh, so that means that if my mother had actually married a white man, I might have been white. And said, oh, it's so unlucky that never happened, So yeah, it's a very destructive inferiorization,
Yes.